Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, I'm playing the Tier 8 Premium Aircraft Carrier Saipan. I won this carrier, pulled it out of a crate, much to my surprise. And I have to say, while I'm not a CV guy, it is kind of fun to change it up now and then, and I have played CVs a little bit, even since the rework. Now this particular CV, and back in the day, this thing was a monster. It had very powerful aircraft for the tier, but that was a different game, right? I mean, that was before the rework, and you had the ability to have multiple squadrons in the air at the same time, et cetera, et cetera. It was more of an RTS style. I still miss that, to be honest. But today, how does this thing stack up? Well, all right, so we'll watch this game with a couple things in mind. One of them, that I'm not really a CV player. I don't spend a lot of time playing CVs, haven't really studied the CVs, couldn't tell you what all their strengths and weaknesses are, etc. It even took me a little while just to figure out exactly how I wanted to spec out the modules and stuff on this thing. Now, one thing I do know is that when the reticule, as you can see there, runs port and starboard rather than bow and aft, if that makes sense, you want to try and catch somebody broadside to maximize your chances of landing things. And these are rockets, so maybe that's especially important. All I'm doing here is just spotting for the team. I'm trying to get some idea of what's out here. And I figured, you know what, I'm here, I have a broadside, let's go ahead and make a run. Now the reticule on CVs is definitely off. So where you see the reticule is going to be a little bit farther away from you here than it was in the game. I don't know why, but it seems to be pretty consistently true. If you hear me sipping on something, I've got some iced tea here in a big Yeti cup. So you may hear the ice rattling around, etc. So, how did I feel about landing 5 rockets for 6,000 damage? Well, I felt okay. The matchmaking here is obviously about as good as it gets. Top tier. So, tier 6 and tier 7 ships are going to struggle a little bit. But as as people have been saying for quite a while now, if you stay in the AA zone of pretty much any ship, you're probably going to start losing aircraft. And the longer you're there, the more aircraft you're going to lose. Now you can see on this side I've got Hipper. He's trying to push in. Now maybe I get him to turn and show broadside to Mainz in North Carolina. But it actually just kind of looks like he's just going to run straight north. And that might give me an opportunity to land a torpedo or two here. Now you can see that spread was all over the place, so I only landed one. And this, while it wasn't, I don't think it was my first game. It might have been my first game in this ship. I've only played a handful. But I have to say it was fun. I mean, it's fun to do something different. And I can't help thinking that's probably what drives a lot of people to both CVs and subs after a fair number of years now of playing other surface ships, cruisers, destroyers, battleships. That gameplay, while it is, it's still fun, at least for most folks, it's the same thing. The challenges change as wargaming changed the overall rules and kind of how things work, the mechanics of the ships and the way weapon systems work, etc. And Hipper does decide to turn in here. Not sure why he's turning in against rockets when he didn't against the torpedoes, but yeah, what are you going to do? Do manage to light a fire, get a couple of defense ribbons, and I'm going to turn the other way because it looks to me like he's probably going to head north. And it looks like North Carolina's firing HE, which is always, well, let's just say it's disappointing. Get another run on the Hipper here. And I'm able to do 1,000 points to finish him off with one rocket. So, you know, 5 minutes in, I've managed to sink a ship. Didn't really do most of the damage. Landed a torpedo, 7 rockets. Hasn't been what I would call a stellar outing for me. But, again, not too surprising given that I'm really very new to this ship. And don't have a whole lot of experience in CVs since the rework. So I've got the torpedo planes out now, and you can see that, you know, the aircraft, of course, they move a lot faster than surface ships, but they're not, at least not in my opinion, based on, you know, kind of how it felt while I was playing it, they're not blisteringly fast. Let's see if I can get a torpedo drop on this Nagato. That's going to be the goal. He doesn't seem to be moving very quickly. And while the indicator didn't really show it, you can see the spread wasn't all that bad. And he's still moving very slowly, so I'm hoping to get another drop as he begins to move forward. And here's hoping we get a flood. So that's 5 torpedo hits now. Let's see if I can pick up a couple more. Yeah, 2 more, but no flooding, unfortunately. Meanwhile, the team is, well, we've lost Mainz, we've lost the 7 Provincian. Our U-69 does take down the Red Buglioni. So we're down 2 ships. Bad guys are down 3. Now, what can I tell you about the Saipan? Let me give you the rundown kind of on the ship itself. It's like a lot of CVs, overpowered in some ways, particularly with regards to spotting. I mean, if there was reason to just camp over something, that certainly is an option. But okay, so the ship itself, you can see 47,900 base HP. It's got the, what is it, F8F Bearcat, the BTD destroyer, torpedo bombers, and also the BTD destroyers bombers. Let's see if I can find the particulars on those, and I may not be able to. No, I don't see anything about it here in the World of Warships wiki, unfortunately. Let's see, maybe if I scroll here. Okay, so the base HP of the rocket planes is 1,600. Base HP of the torpedo planes is 2,040, and base HP of the bombers is 2,150. But it doesn't really give me any damage stats or anything in the wiki, unfortunately. I'm going to try and finish up this Nagato. We'll see whether or not I have any success with it. Just trying to avoid the flak, which, if you're paying attention, really isn't all that hard most of the time. I think I might have started this run a little too early, but we'll see. Another fire, so maybe that will drag down the Nagato. So what can I tell you about the Saipan from the wiki? What information is there? As you can see him continuing to bleed HP from the fire. And down he goes. So that's kill number 2 in one of the handful of games that I played in this ship. Okay, I'll just read it to you. As a premium USN aircraft carrier, Saipan's uniqueness comes from our aircraft being very similar to Midway's in speed, survivability, and armament count per plane. Additionally, the ship itself has much better concealment and rudder shift than her USN peers Lexington and Enterprise, allowing players to move faster to their desired location and stealthily closer to their strike targets. This gives players an edge over their same tier counterparts in faster and quicker strikes to whittle down the enemy. And that's very true. Now you can see I'm at the back of the map, but that's probably more due to experience than anything. And the fact that we've got red ships on the right and on the left, and I didn't want to find myself in a crossfire. However, she does not have the same attack flight size and squadron size of Midway's, nor does she have Lexington's armor. The lack of armor means that enemy battleship salvos and torpedoes will cause much more damage to the ship when a player's ship is detected. Players must be careful of where to position their ship for maximizing their strike capabilities while keeping their ship intact. Furthermore, while Saipan's torpedo bombers do carry 2 torpedoes each, like Midway's, this amplifies the effect of lost damage output for each plane shot down by the enemy. And her aircraft restoration time is the longest out of all carriers currently, making each aircraft lost a massive decrease in her constant damage output. Players should carefully select targets, as randomly lashing out at any target that may have a formidable anti-air defense will result in a complete exhaust of available strike aircraft. Now you can see I'm trying to finish off the turrets here, or at least trying to help. And to finish off what I'm reading here in the WoW's wiki, the culmination of these characteristics allows Saipan to have higher overall potential damage output with most other same-tier carriers. Players should attempt to use each squadron as effectively as possible through minimizing losses and getting the most damage in each attack run. Now, I haven't had a great deal of success with that, although I have finished off 2 ships. The pros, according to the WoW's wiki of the ship: strong alpha strike with all 3 plane types. Maybe if you're playing it right, I guess. Rockets and bombs have a very high fire chance and good ship speed and concealment. The cons: poor ship armor, short-ranged AA defenses, exceedingly long plane restoration time, small squadrons and low deck reserves. Planes have a long aiming time, and torpedo bombers and dive bombers are fairly slow. I have to agree with all those things. I did not find this ship, well, I guess one way to say it is, it certainly wasn't overpowered. Team is now down to 5 ships, with the Sashio B down to very few HP. But so is their Cleveland. And the reason I go to the map view like that is so that I can change the direction and speed of the actual aircraft carrier. And I'm going to just try and help finish off Cleveland here, but I have a feeling he's going to, yep, he's down to the guns of the Renown before I get there. So it's now 5 ships to 4. Our Sashio and U-69 are both in really bad shape, and you can see the Chapayev he's chasing after me and putting guns on me even as we speak. So I'm recalling the aircraft, changing direction, and I'm just trying to minimize the amount of damage that I'm going to take here. So I've kind of aimed the ship more or less due east. We'll see that begin to change on the minimap there. And I'm going to get out here and see what I can do to the Chapayev. Now, as mentioned in the WoW's wiki, these aircraft are not very fast, and they have a really long aiming time, which makes hitting something like the Chapayev is a little bit challenging. Not that it can't be done, but it's fairly fast. It's kind of nimble. Got an incapacitation there, but it is not easy to land shots on a light cruiser. When you couple that with decent AA, you can see limited effectiveness against cruisers. Yeah, 1 penetration. Yeah, that's not gonna do it. I do manage to go undetected, thank goodness. Down to 33,230 HP. Chapayev now has me detected again, apparently, which means more than likely that the Benson or the U-69 are out here. Looks like the U-69 checking out the minimap, keeping me spotted for the Chapayev. Now, as I fly over, they probably submerge. And we've got skip bombers coming in from Pobeda. And I'm just doing the best I can to stay angled away from the Chapayev and any potential incoming torpedoes from the U-69. I do manage to get the Chapayev to turn away here briefly as I try to get some torpedoes in the water. And see if I can get a second drop. And I just can't get the aircraft swung around in time. No idea why that happened, but could not get those aircraft to turn. Well, my team actually is, I would say, doing fairly well. We've got Renown and the U-69 pushing into the Bravo cap against the Benson. Gneisenau moving to support, and Gneisenau might be able to get guns on either Pobeda or Chapayev, depending upon where the Chapayev turned around to come after me again. I can either go nose into the, Gneisenau lands shells on Benson and finishes him off. That's fantastic. So bad guys are down to 3 ships. We've still got 5, but I'm in big trouble because I've got that U-69 out here. I've got the Pobeda dropping me, which makes very little sense to me. But, maybe they're just trying to get the one thing they think they can finish off quickly. And all I can really do is hope to harass the Chapayev, get him to turn broadside and show broadside to the Gneisenau, as everybody and their brother on my team is basically doing the same thing to the red CV that the red team is doing to me. And this is probably just a suicidal run here. Yeah, 7,000 damage. I'll take it. And I'm actually running back this way now because I was thinking if the sub is close, maybe my automatic defense systems might help sink it. But that was kind of a vain hope.
All stations reporting the position of a strategic target.
As he is running away from me. Chapayev is showing the Gneisenau broadside, showing him no respect whatsoever, but Gneisenau is probably entirely focused on that U-69 right now. I'm trying to get one drop from quite a ways away, and then see if I can get these aircraft to turn around before they're all shot down. Look at that spread. That's just terrible. And Gneisenau tries to get guns. Maybe that was Renown, I guess. But without success. As I resume running away, I do land 2 torpedoes in the side of the Chapayev, but as you can see, it didn't. It just didn't do enough. And I'm down to 8,400 HP, and that's not going to last long. Now down to 7,300 HP, and I've got to try and get bombs on the Chapayev, which is probably pretty unlikely. And I'm not going to get a chance to get anything else in the air. So 10 torpedo hits, respectable, I guess. He's turning to try and minimize my chances of landing anything here. And the best I could do is get an incapacitation. It's a real shame that he's down to 1,600 HP and I can't finish him off, but sadly, that is how it's going to end up. That said, it was a fun ship to play. I honestly probably won't play it a lot because CVs really aren't my thing. But I would say if you are a CV guy, you might, that was horrible. You might enjoy playing this ship. I appreciate you taking a little bit of time with me here today. Maybe you learned something. But even if you didn't, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks a lot. If you haven't already, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you next time.